Weather portion of Ag Week now, and here comes March and March weather. First of all, you'll notice across the northern plains, upper Midwest, southern Canada, cold weather does linger. It has been quite stagnantly cold lately, although it is a little less extreme as it was for much of February. We've gotten some significant snow covering the ground now over many areas of the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, and more snow chances are on the way. A little bit more of a stormy weather pattern setting up, but you know, it is March, and that is actually quite typical. Cold weather in the northern plains, northern Rockies, upper Midwest. It's been fairly mild in the southeast. Of course, record heat last week in many areas of the eastern seaboard. If you really want hot weather, go to Australia. Of course, bear in mind, it's late summer in Australia, so these temperatures in the hundreds over the outback, not at all unusual, but it is a hot, dry weather pattern down there. Meanwhile, it was very warm, unusually so around Greenland this past week. It's gone cold again there, but there is some very mild weather into Iceland and extreme Western Europe, but it's quite cold in Siberia. Now, we're not talking cold like it was a month ago, but a lot of this region, Siberia and the eastern parts of Russia, into the minus 20s, and some of that cold now is expected to expand back into much of Central Europe. Not below zero, but below freezing across much of central northern Europe. Unusually cold for late in the season. Back here at home, it's a little bit cold and a little bit stormy. Of course, we've got a weather system moving out of the region here on Saturday into Sunday. More snow in the Pacific Northwest. Some rain down south setting up once again. Very wet pattern down here centered around Arkansas and eastern parts of Oklahoma. A couple of snow chances this week across the northern plains and or upper sections of the Midwest. And the jet stream pattern itself is a little more meandering, and it is going to bring some precipitation and some cooler weather eventually to the eastern part of the United States. Second week will bring northern plains and upper Midwest snow chances, and overall a much more active weather pattern than what we had been enjoying or seeing lately. The cold weather will stick around through the northern plains. The really frigid stuff will stay up in the Arctic and Hudson Bay, but it will be mostly below freezing across the northern plains. The only real warm weather down in the deep south and southeast this week, and next week it's looking about the same. Fairly cold, maybe a few days going above 32, but overall it's going to be a fairly chilly weather pattern setting up as we get toward the first week and the middle of March. So lingering cold weather, continued chances to add moisture through the form of snow, because the weather pattern is not only cold, it's relatively stormy now compared to what it was most of this past winter season.